I went to the career fair at my college again. Oh my god. And I feel like I stopped having like a victim mindset about stuff and change how I talk to myself, like phrasing stuff, things like phrasing things focus in like phrasing things by focusing on like what's actually relevant instead of phrasing things like starting off like really negative, like phrasing it negative. Because I'm not actually a victim in any way, so I was like, okay, let me just like stop acting like I'm a victim, I guess, and you know, because I'm not, but I'm like, because you like, I'm not gonna get a reward for being a victim and always and also just like something else. Victim is always talking about stuff that I don't like or whatever, because I think that people, places, and things owe it to me to be likable to me, like, and they don't at all. Yeah. But I'm like, would I even be filming these videos if I didn't like always have a problem? Not always have a problem, but like, whatever. I'm gonna talk about what currently is happening in my life right now, and then we can go over other things. So I went to the career fair. It apparently started at 5, but I got there like 4:23. I thought it started at 4:30. And I was like, I low-key don't even want to go. But yeah, but then I was like, I'm gonna go get a job. So I found a way to print to a printer in my dorm. I printed 15 copies of my resume, and then I went to the building where the fair is taking place, and yeah, so I have this folder. And so this has my resume and some papers that I got. And then I was in my dorm, like, putting this on or whatever, and that I got from somebody who is an alumni of my sorority. Gave me like this dress that was really hard to put on, and then And then, yeah, and then I started crying while I was putting on, because there's a zipper in the back of it, and it was really difficult. And there's also a button, like, where my shoulder blades are, like in the middle, on the back of it, the dress. And yeah, so I broke that while I was putting it on, actually. And then I walked to the building where the career fair is at, and I signed in, and I got my name tag, and was walking around talking to people, and so I was walking around talking to people, and kind of just being humiliating, and then I sat in the back in the auditorium again, and was just crying in the auditorium. And then I went to get this in the little room, and talked to some people where it was completely irrelevant for me to be speaking to them. And then I shook their hand again, and then I went to another table, and yeah, so that's what happened today. And this past weekend I went to a mega church with some family members, and I was sitting there, and I was on my cycle a little bit. I was trying not to daydream while I was sitting in the audience, and also trying to be positive. And yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, when people are talking, I feel like it is the most open and inviting environment to just think about, like, this is my time to daydream. So that is what I was doing. Or no, that's what I was trying not to do. And I was trying to be present, but then the pastor. But yeah, so it was really awesome. I usually enjoy sermons, but I mean, no, I never, okay, again, trying not to be negative, but like, and also, okay, here's the things that I liked about what the pastor ended up saying. He was kind of being like, it's okay to, it was like a relationship sermon or whatever at a mega church. And then, so yeah, so we got some like really intense, scary advertisements flashing across the screen, and he ended up talking about how it's okay to crave relationships or whatever. And there was this audience on stage that was supposed to serve as the purpose of like this on stage audience. They didn't end up doing anything. They were just sitting behind him being the on-stage audience to make it look like, I don't even know, just in case he wanted to, like, use them to establish a point, and he did not. So he ended up just kind of saying, like, oh, it's okay to crave relationships and, you know, pour into other people. Just don't pour it. You probably shouldn't pour into people that you don't have a give and take with. Like, for instance, complaining to somebody, complaining to a child about something that they don't know anything about, like, you know. So yeah, and some people need to hear that. Everybody needs to hear that, I guess. I don't really know. But then the pastor had the but again, so that was something that I appreciated. I was like, oh, thank I'm so glad that I was present and I was actually paying attention to what he was saying, because this was really nice, like, whatever. And then he had the audacity to, like, randomly mention, like, something in the Bible that's false, like, oh yeah, he said, like, oh, we should treat everyone as people, including you know, everybody in this country, obviously, because he was trying to say, like, you know, trying to randomly, I guess, trying to establish that he's not Republican, and that, you know, we should treat everybody in the U.S. equally. You know, all types of statuses, this and that. So then he established that, and then he was going on and on talking about relationships again. But then he had but then he goes on to mention something irrelevant, which just kind of showed me that everybody in the room is just, okay, you know how I just said, like, there's no point in, like, mentioning things that you don't like or don't agree with, if that makes any sense. Okay, even though, but what I'm doing is talking about what happened, okay? I'm talking about what he talked about. But something that he did was he mentioned, like, that there's, like, 2 men in the Bible, and people are saying that they were dating each other, and so he mentioned that it's not true that they were dating each other. And it's just like, again, like, it had absolutely nothing to do with the sermon. He literally brought it up. Do you know what I mean? Like, why mention stuff that doesn't have anything to do with you? Like, it had nothing to do with the sermon. So, yeah. So that was kind of scary. Anyways, so he's just mentioning something that has nothing to do with him and didn't have anything to do with the sermon. And again, everybody just started aggressively agreeing with him, and it just showed me that everybody in the room was, like, super self-hating. And I kind of, like, the one thing that I like about that I kind of a little bit like about going to a church is how much they seem like they like themselves and each other. So that was like, whoa. Like, y'all hate yourselves. And then he was also, which everybody, a lot of people that were talking that day kind of mentioned, like, how your relationship to God, which they said was a vertical relationship, and your relationship with other people, it's a horizontal relationship. Like, your relationships with God helps your relationships with other people, I guess. I don't know. Like, it was so self-hating. Like, that broke the whole facade for me. Yeah. So I was weirdly about to, like, take a lot away. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I was about to... Yeah. So that was really fun. And then we went to go get ice cream. But and the thing is that, like, the pastor, like, was establishing that he's not Republican or whatever. Or, like, okay, let's just say this. Some people have really strong opinions because they're an incel and they feel like their opinions will make them attractive, and they have this mindset of, like, that they don't get what they want ever. So, like, they feel like their opinions will help them get what they want, and not having the mindset of somebody that gives what they want. So, in my opinion, like, not in my opinion, this is just true. Anyways, mentioning things that have nothing to do with you, you know, like, and just strong opinions in general about, like, random things is just giving, like, it's the mindset of somebody who doesn't get the things that they want, basically. Anyways, but yeah, so I kind of learned from that, which is something that I've been starting to peep, is just a lot of stuff is just not my business. A lot of stuff is nobody's business. Yeah. And I used to have a mindset of, like, the things that I don't want. I didn't have a mindset of, like, I don't get the things that I want. I had a mindset of, like, the things that I don't want me really bad. So, like, I needed to constantly ruminate on things that I didn't like to make sure that they weren't in my life. It didn't even make any sense. because I genuinely didn't think that thinking about it was like contributing to it. But again, yeah, most things are none of my business, and most things have nothing to do with me, and most things are not about me. Like, so yeah, I mean, even just like talking to people sometimes, like phrasing things as if I was the victim or something, like, when in reality, things, yeah, nothing like owes me anything at all, like, so, I don't know, it's just, I'm just not the victim, and my life isn't different, I guess, so yeah. And that's kind of what the pastor was talking about, like, don't have expectations, don't don't like over promise and underperform and stuff like that. Like he said, like, useful normal stuff, normal, like something that a winner would say, and then randomly was like, I don't know if anybody else was thinking about this, but these two men in the Bible, they were not dating. I don't know if anybody was thinking about this right now. If any of you were thinking about that, they were not. Just to make sure, if anybody in the audience was thinking about this, I don't know if anybody like, and then everybody in the audience was like, exactly. I'm like, but yeah. So, what else is my business? Oh, so I had like a sorority formal meeting, and I was crying during that. And I don't know why. And then, yeah, so I was crying during that, and then, yes, I've been doing a lot of homework so I just got off my cycle. I'm having trouble, like, focusing. Been trying to increase my reading comprehension and not use ChatGPT for anything. And then going to sleep early, waking up really early, and then, yeah. And, yeah, all I think about is coding. I literally dreamt about coding last night, and I'm in the shower, and instead of being a loser, like thinking about oh my god, before I stopped like acting like I was the victim all the time, before I stopped doing that, and when I was in my victim era, all I would think about is like how to fix other people, like as if they're not happy with like how they are. So I would just kind of act like other people were a victim to themselves, so I had to like save them from themselves, fix them. So I had to come up with like what would fix them, which doesn't even make any sense. And then so I was just always thinking about like that, like in the shower, like when I was like doing something. And yeah, and then I don't even know what else to say. Yeah. And then I broke my laptop, and then I had to go to the Apple Store to replace the entire machine. But I did have insurance, so it costed less. And then, so now I have a Chromebook that is clean and doesn't, have a clean machine because it's completely new. But yeah, and then I'm really upset actually, because the career fair actually was very tiring, and yeah, so I'm kind of tired, and so I was like creepily crying in the auditorium a couple of times to take a break, and yeah, so I was really sleepy, and yeah, so I'm really sleepy right now, and I don't really want to eat today. I don't really want to eat dinner, but I am going to eat dinner. And then I usually do my laundry really early so that I can have time to take it out myself. And then but yeah, everything is going great, obviously, and then I have formal with my sorority, and the theme is pearls and flowers or something. So it's gonna be in April. That's something that I'll tell you about. And yeah, people have been commenting on my facial expressions. I don't know what I look like, so I've never experienced my own presence, so I don't actually know. So I apologize. And then and it's like day one of my follicular phase, so I thought I was gonna be like stronger than this, but I'm actually not. And yeah, so I was like, let me go get a job at the career fair or whatever. And then I did go to the career fair. I have a new computer, so I don't flag on my computer, so I don't have to worry about getting unwanted attention from people I don't like. even though I always do. And then yeah, so I told you about formal, and then so I'm gonna go to sleep, and I'm just gonna think about coding on my computer. And then yeah, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.